It's time to end this losing streak. What's it going to take to beat Pitt? We'll find out in just a second.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Friday, October 4th, 2024. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shea, joined by our guy, Denora Cersei. And man, we're sitting here watching our hometown Falcons in real time. They're down to the Bucks. Cersei, I think we just fumbled too. A little Kirk Cousins action.
Oh my God.
And you're joining us at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks so much for making us your first listen or watch. And we want to give a special shout out to the everydayers joining us, all the great Locked On Tar Heels Discord members, and our beautiful Locked On Tar Heels insiders, man. Welcome in. Let's get after it. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Coming up on the show today, we're going to see if Carolina can get off this two-game schneid that they're on against an unbeaten Pittsburgh team that looks a lot different than the Pittsburgh teams we're used to playing. We're going to have our what to watch for, where we get you prepped. We'll have our game predictions. We got our weekend whip around. Sirs, there are 3 Carolina teams right now ranked in the top 3 nationally. We'll talk about all of that coming up later in the show. So, sirs, big storylines right out of the gate here. How on earth is Carolina going to go about recovering from this 2-week skid? 2 weeks ago, they get taken out behind the woodshed by a Sunbelt team. Right. Last week, they gave up a 20-0 lead midway through the third quarter. And last week we were talking about, look, we can't let one loss turn into 2. Well, now you can't let 2 losses turn into 3. How do you turn this around?
Hey, man, it's going to be tough. Everybody don't picked up on your formula. They don't find ways to move the ball. So you gotta nip that in the butt quick, man. Main thing is you can't blow a 20-0 lead, man. I mean, especially late in the game. Maybe early they have a chance to come back and fight, but 20-0 in the game with the run game we have, they should have been able to ground the clock out. But that's easier to say when you're sitting and watching and whatnot. But I've also seen it done. You've seen it done. So
that's right.
It against a rival opponent, you got to have that edge to want to keep your foot on their neck and keep them down. These last 2 weeks has been tough on Carolina. Now they're facing even another tough opponent that's coming off a bye week. So they had 2 weeks to watch them and prepare. So they know they out for a fight. Pitt's looking to come in and spoil homecoming. Yes. Hopefully that's not the case, man. But to prevent that, we for sure got to come out. I know I talked last week about starting fast, and that's what Carolina did. They came out and started fast, but then they relaxed. And that's something they shouldn't have done. Not alone, like I said, let alone a conference game, but a rival game. You don't take your foot off a rival opponent until it's the end, because they're going to fight to the end because it's rivalry. That's right. It's bragging rights, and I think that was the first time that Carolina has lost to Duke since 2018. So that was. Yep. So it's been a minute. They've been. You should have known. You got to keep that pressure on them because they're trying to get out of that hole. They had something to fight for, undefeated record, and also pride in that Liberty Bell. And I hate to say it, but the Liberty Bell is in Durham for the next 365 and not in Chapel Hill. So I can't go over to the facility and see it sitting in the hallway. I got to wait till next year. Hopefully we'll get it back. Fingers crossed.
Yes, it's painful. Well, let's just dwell on that for a minute to help maybe be instructive about moving forward, Cersei, because I think we all saw the things that led to the good side of it. But as you're watching, because, I mean, it truthfully is both sides of the ball, right? The offense was not helping the defense get stops because a bunch of threes and out, stuff like that. But on the defensive side of the ball, what were the things you saw that were the key issues that allowed Duke to fight their way back in?
Missed opportunities. We defense left a lot of plays out there, whether it be missed tackles, having a chance to get our hands on the ball, pressure on the QBs, sack on the QBs. You had to do something to stop the bleeding. Once Duke scored, it was 20-0, like I said, it was 20-0 going into the third. Once Duke scored and saw that they were still in it, they started picking up momentum. And Carolina as a defense, you got to be able to like nip that in the bud quick. You got to let them know, like, I mean, even if they do score, you got to be able to come out the next possession, whether that's on offense and that's moving the ball. You got to pick up at least three points. Rather, I mean, we want the touchdown, but you got to at least get 3 points to extend the lead and put points back up on the board. And then as for defense, you got to go back to the basics and just get stops, keep them off the field. The more opportunities they have, they're going to find ways to get it in the end zone. That's what good teams do. That's what division opponents do. Like we said, nobody's really out of it until the end. You seen Alabama, Georgia, Alabama was like 28-7, and Georgia ended up, clawing and fighting back, and the score was real close towards the end, and Alabama needed a stop to seal the win. But that shows you, like, every game it's a lot of games that's going to come down like that to tooth and nail biter. So you got to be able to finish.
What you talked about the defensive side of it and some of the things that have to happen. One of the big things we're hopeful for this week is the return of Kamen Rucker. Obviously, he is a key source on that defensive line. Kind of along with Power Eccles, the kind of heart and soul, coming back. How important is Rucker's return? Like, for example, I said last week, if Kamen, I almost said Darius Rucker. What up, Hootie and the Blowfish? If Kamen Rucker had been in that game last week, I think Carolina, that is enough to put it over the top, because he doesn't allow that to happen. Like, is he that important to this line and this defense?
I believe so. He's one of the proven leaders. He has a high motor. Guys respect him and listen to him, and it also balances out our front four. People had the opportunity to slide to Dez and allow extra help on Dez because Kamen wasn't there. So Dez pressure dipped a little bit because Kamen wasn't there, and teams was able to just zone it on him because you got two younger guys on the other side that they felt pretty confident that their teams can handle. So they focused their efforts on double teaming the other side. Now with Kamen back, even though he may be on pitch count till you get back in game state, but he's still a factor out there. You're not going to leave him one-on-one. So now it's pick your poison. Are you going to slide to Dez or are you going to slide to Kamen? And like I said, that balances out the defensive front. That allows a great pressure from our front four that leaves more guys in coverage with eyes on the QB, able to make plays on the ball. But it also give Coach Collins the freedom to dial it up because he has one of his key players back going into this week. So that's a big plus.
So we will wait and see on tomorrow in the game if indeed Kamen Rucker is able to go, and if he is on any kind of pitch count or snap count, and what that's going to look like. And in his stead, folks, as we've talked about, I mean, it's been 3 different guys that have started in this position. Tyler Thompson, Jacoby Powell last week sliding over to a new position, and Jabron Harvey a couple weeks ago. So it's just they've been spinning the tires trying to find somebody, and clearly no one is Kamen Rucker, which we all know.
Right,
man. Hopefully
that shows you how valuable Kamen is as a piece of this defense. And for our defense and our team to be successful, well, we need Kamen in the lineup for sure.
So Pitt comes in, as Sir said earlier, undefeated, coming off an open week. They're 4-0 for the first time since 2000. A win Saturday at Kenan Stadium would make them 5-0 for the first time since 1991. Sirs, their wins are over Kent State, at Cincinnati, home against West Virginia, and last week against Youngstown State. Obviously, a big blowout there. And Sirs, for me, as we look at a key matchup, I alluded to it earlier. Mm-hmm. We often think about Pitt being this hard-nosed team, physical, going to come after you defensively. I think they'll continue to do that, but they're not the same kind of offensive team we're used to. Let me give some numbers, and then I'll ask your assessment as a defensive player. Gotcha. Averaging 48.5 points a game, 5th in the nation coming into the weekend, averaging 522 yards a game, and that's 7th nationally. And the weird thing is, it's the passing attack that's at the top of this thing. They're 7th in the nation with in their passing yards per game, Cersei, and that's just kind of mind-boggling to me. So how do you kind of flip your mindset about what you're used to seeing from Pitt, and how, if you're Jeff Collins, would you go about trying to render this offense not as strong as it intends to be?
I would say it as a challenge. If I'm the D line, I'm licking my chops. A team that's 7th in the nation that loves to pass the ball, that give us more opportunities to go after the QB. I know Pitt in the past has been more so of a run dominant team, with running backs like have all the way back to the 70s with Tony Dorsett. Then you know what I'm saying? Then you have guys come through there like LaShawn McCoy, Deion Lewis. I can't remember the guy they had a couple years ago, but he was I think he was either first or second in the ACC in rushing.
Yeah, I can't think of who you're talking about, but gosh, keep talking. I'll look it up because that's
right. Yeah. So now it's like you said, they're doing it in a different way, which is more so through the air, which is good and bad. It's good for us because, like I said, especially when we get Kamen back, we have a chance to add an extra guy, a veteran guy who could put pressure on the quarterback. And that means if the ball gonna be in the air, teams can't eat up the clock, especially if you get 3 and outs and you get incompletes. And also, it's always an opportunity to get your hands on the ball and create turnovers. Turnover changes the game. So I believe it plays in Carolina's favor, especially if Kamen Rucker's back.
That's right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Israel Abanikanda. Izzy.
What?
Yeah.
That was his name?
That's the dude who I was thinking of anyway. Back in 2022, he had 239 rushes for 1,431 yards and 20 touchdowns on the ground.
Right. Man.
He was a dude in 2020.
Was he like number 2?
I don't remember.
I may be wrong, but I just remember they had a stud running back. Like ever since I was in college, Pitt always kept at least one stud at running back they could get that ball to. So,
hey, you mentioned LaShawn McCoy. You know what he and I have in common?
What's that?
Shady. Let's get it. Okay, so sirs, let me give us some of the names we need to know, and then we'll get to our what to watch for. The quarterback, the guy slinging this thing all around, is quarterback Eli Holstein, who comes over from Alabama. He is 4 times this year already the ACC Rookie of the Week, completing 67.7% of his passes, has thrown 12 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, and he's also a threat on the ground. 38 rushes, 189 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. The key running back right now is Des Reed, 44 rushes so far this year, 319 yards. He's averaging 7.3 per carry, just 1 touchdown on the ground, but he's also a threat in the passing game. 13 receptions, 167 yards, and 3 TDs. Let me name 4 wide receivers for you, all of whom have a couple TDs. Well, one of them just has 1, but man, they're doing some work on the receivers. Kanata Mumfield has 20 receptions for 315 yards and 3. Kenny Johnson, Sincere Lee, and Raphael Williams are 3 other guys that have been really impactful for this offense.
Man.
So it's going to be some work shutting these guys down, sirs. And so really, really got to be ready. The secondary's got to be ready to do that work you're talking about. Not a ton of turnovers that Carolina has been able to create yet. Maybe this is the week to get it going.
Hope so, man.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is get to our what to watch for, our W2, W4, where we set you up, get you ready for this game to help make you a smarter fan as you're watching Saturday, maybe down in some chili in the noon hour, whatever it is. We'll get to that coming up here in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Literally earlier on Thursday, Final Four odds came out for this year. This is the odds to reach the Final Four. Leading the way, sirs, I got bad news. It's Duke at +190, followed by UConn and Kansas at +210, Bama and Houston both at +260, Carolina, Gonzaga, and Iowa State at +420, and rounding out that top 10 is Auburn and Arizona, and Caleb Love at +500. So if you want to get in on that action, or anything else, maybe you want to find some games to bet on this weekend, Carolina is a 2.5-point underdog right now. You can check it all out at FanDuel.com. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Oh, yes. It's time for the what to watch for, the W2, W4, where we give you 4 things to watch in this game that we will be watching for that we think will be key in determining who ultimately wins this game. Serge, kick us off.
All right. What to watch for? My first choice is, can the defense overcome from the problems they've been having, whether it's missed tackles and applying pressure, getting turnovers? I would say yes, because with the return of Kamen Rucker, that adds extra value. And also, I would say yes because of one of the key matchups that I see. Des Evans against Pitt's tackle Ryan Beard. Ryan Beard's given up 16 pressures in the last 4 games. Des Evans has had 11 pressures. You know, even with the line sliding to him, he still was able to manage 11 pressures in that time span. So with Kamen coming back, that should put him in a lot of one-on-one matchups with that tackle. So I'm looking for him. If he don't get any sacks, he should still be disruptive. Like throw off the timing, get the quarterback moving in the pocket, and just wrecking havoc back there because they show that they can be a liability, especially with them passing so much. So I hope that's one of the things we definitely could take advantage of. Now, the right tackle probably worked on it, doing a bye week and whatnot, but he still had a week off. So that gave Des Evans the extra week to keep his motor going, stay in routine and whatnot. So I'm leaning on that one-on-one matchup for sure.
And I love the specificity of that because it gives everyone something very tangible to look at. So watch that right side of the Pitt offensive line, the left side of the Carolina defensive line. Can we get some pressure and movement into the backfield on that side? Thank you, sir. So that's great. Number 2 in the what to watch for, Pitt is going to be aggressive defensively, just like Duke was last week. Carolina was able to handle it well in the first half. Sirs, I thought Chip Lindsey had some good calls that countered the Duke aggressiveness on defense in various ways, whether it was some play action, whether it was some of that naked bootleg stuff, whatever it was working well. Second half, Duke made some counters, brought blitzes from other places, and I thought Carolina's inability to adjust to that adjustment was part of what cost them this victory. So we're going to see that again this Saturday from Pitt. Under Pat Narduzzi, man, they're going to buckle down. They're going to be physical, and they're going to come after Carolina. They're going to make someone other than Omarion Hampton beat them. You can take that to the bank. Will Jacoby Criswell be up to the task? How does the passing game get going? That is a key to me to watch for in what to watch for point number 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, I say the same, especially knowing that Carolina wants to be a run dominant team, even though we have the weapons outside. We have mismatch opportunities and whatnot. So hopefully Jacoby can keep getting better. If he's come out firing and throwing the ball all over the place, that'll loosen up the defense, which allows Omarion to just run wild. I mean, Omarion still having a stellar season, but if we could get it going in the passing game more for him, then I believe that would free him up to be more dominant.
That's right. All right, number 3, take us there, my man.
Number 3 is, can Carolina find a way to finish? You mentioned it, man. We both mentioned it. 20 to zip going into the third quarter. Got to be able to keep your foot on the throttle, man, and keep going. Can they get it done? We can't blow a 20 to nothing lead. These games are critical. It's conference play. Got a team that's coming in looking to remain undefeated, and for one of us to be one of the teams to be able to come out with this win, you got to be able to finish and be able to dominate late in the fourth quarter. You got to find ways to win to get the job done. Carolina showed the past couple of weeks they could it. Definitely had a chance to do it last week by coming out fast, but they weren't able to counter the counters that was thrown against them from Duke, which ultimately played into our downfall. So hopefully we can find a way to finish. If we come out fast and we get a lead, keep that lead, and keep pouring it on. That's the main thing. You got to find ways to win, especially in today's game and the way teams are stacked up against each other. A lot of the teams are, like I mentioned last week, a lot of the teams are balanced. So when you get an advantage on that and you come out and you see that you can surprise, shock a team and get up on them with some good points, you gotta be able to put them away.
Oh man. It stresses me out, sirs. Number 4 in what to watch for. Carolina's got to clean up their punting. And I mean that in terms of protection, because there has been a punt block in each of the last 2 weeks the James Madison one, and then last week at the early part of the second half, which Carolina kind of lucked out and got the ball back in that. But it remains the fact that the punt was blocked. And if we're being honest, sirs, there were several other before that where I was like,
yeah,
that could have easily been blocked, right?
Yeah.
Like there is something right now inherently wrong with Carolina's punt block protection, and it's got to be fixed.
Got to fix that.
And like, I don't know what you have to do, Carolina special teams, but my goodness, there have been so many. There are the two actual blocks, but even like every punt leading up to that, I was like, they almost got to that. And so it's like, not only like do you have to stop these blocks, it shouldn't even be close at this point because you're paying so much attention to fixing it that like Pitt should not be coming close to touching this football. And so Carolina's got to clean that up.
Absolutely. That's another way. That's a phase that can lose you the game. Well, we saw that against James Madison. Like they blocked the punt for a touchdown on us. Like you could lose the game. I seen the team win on both offense and defense, but they gave up 2 touchdowns in special teams, and that cost them the game. So special teams is a phase that can get you beat for sure. And you got to be able to clean that up, man. Teams are going to continue to put pressure on that point of your game until you've shown that you fixed that problem and shown that there's no leakage in that. But until you could erase that notion that you got an opportunity to block one on them, then they're gonna keep coming at them. I remember we blocked 3 punts against UConn, and they was in traditional spread punt. The next week they came out of elephant. So we
forced them to the zoo, man. You sent them to the zoo.
Right. We forced them out of a traditional NFL punt, like spread punt formation. They deviated from that. When you get 3 punts blocked in a game like that, they changed their whole script. And if that's something Carolina has to do to stop the bleeding, then by all means, do it. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it. The thing at the end is to get the win, and that hitting yardage in the game from being able to flip the field when you have to punt to an opposing team is, I mean, the percentages will go down way lower if they got to drive 80 yards for a touchdown that's compared to 40, or if they block one and return it to the 20 or for a touchdown, then it defeats the purpose of being able to flip the field and give your defense a chance to get off the field.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's for sure.
Look, Mac Brown is a happy man. He wants to be a happy man, but he will not be a happy man if this continues to happen on special teams. No. Let's put a smile on his face, make Sally's day. It's all going to be good. All right, folks, we got to get to our predictions. I want to fill you in on how you can help with hurricane relief on Saturday at Kenan Stadium. And, of course, we got our weekend whip around for you, all coming up here as we close out the show. Right after I tell you about Game Time. Look, going to live events is the absolute best, baby. It is fall. It's October. My neighbor's out here putting up scary skeletons that are like 87 feet tall. It's the wildest thing. And, man, I don't know about you all, but I love the opportunity now to start going back to making new memories this college sports season, whether it's football on Saturday or just basketball here in a couple weeks. Great news. When you want to go make those memories, getting tickets, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't got to waste time searching through all the mess to find them. So whether it's Game Time ticket coverage, the lowest price guarantee, or the panoramic views from your seat in the app, Game Time has got you covered. I looked it up, some seats for this weekend against Pitt, $62 each, right behind Carolina's bench, around the 20-yard line, section 128, row D. Man, that's a great deal. If you don't want to spend quite that much, cheapest tickets I could find, $37 each, up in section 210, row P. Regardless, man, you got to get there and help these Tar Heels to victory, get that first ACC dub. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, sirs, here it is. Carolina at 3-2, hosting an undefeated and 4-0 Pitt this Saturday, October 5th in Kenan Stadium, a noon kick on ESPN2. As you said earlier, it's homecoming. You can't lose homecoming, baby.
Oh, I've never lost.
Favored by 2.5. The over-under is 64.5. That's a little too rich for my blood, I think. Carolina leads the all-time series 12 20-5 and have won the last 2 meetings by an almost identical score. Last year, Carolina won at Pitt 41-24. 2 years ago, the Tar Heels won at home 42-24. More of that, please. And sirs, here's the good news. Pitt has never won at Carolina all time. The Tar Heels are 7-0 at home against these Panthers. Is it going to get to 8? What do you think?
I believe so. I'm praying and I hope so. We need to, for one, mainly we need to win, but for two, we need to keep that streak going. They can't come in here and get their first win this year. So they gotta be 4-1 when it's all said and done. Easy for us to sit here and predict it because we're not the ones that help control the outcome. But yes, I'm praying for a Carolina win for sure, man. Like it's gonna be a good game, though, for sure. Absolutely.
Yes. We see it coming. Before we make our predictions, I just want to share with you something that the Carolina is doing this weekend. Carolina is going to give you the opportunity to donate to Hurricane Helen relief. You can donate items at the game on Saturday. They'll be accepted from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at various sites around Keenan. The football equipment trailer is going to be located outside Gate 2 to collect the supplies, but there's also drop-off sites at Gate 3, Gate 6, at the Friday Center Park and Ride Lot, 1458 Raleigh Road, and in front of the UNC ticket office there on Skipper Bowles. So let me give you some of the desired items. Cases of water, pre-mixed, ready-to-use baby formula, baby wipes, hygiene products like toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, hand sanitizer, that's big, feminine hygiene products, you know what I'm talking about, diapers, shampoo, body wash, flashlights and lanterns, man, that's a big deal because it's dark when there's no electricity there, y'all. It's crazy. So all donations are going to be delivered to Western North Carolina by Lee's 24-hour Towing, a partner actually of Carolina Athletics, and they will go directly to individuals impacted by the events of the hurricane. So, man, let's take care of one another. Come be part of this and donate. Help people out. You would want nothing less and hope for nothing less than the same if you were in this scenario.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps, sir. That's a good word, man. I appreciate that. So that said, let's make predictions on this game. What you going with?
That's going to be a tough one. But I go 28-21 Carolina.
Okay, I like that. Carolina putting up 4 touchdowns, winning by a score by 7. That will cover the 2.5-point spread and will be the under. I like that. I was going to go 31-24, very close to yours, but a field goal extra for both teams. Gotcha. And so what is it? 31-24, that would be 55. So I'm under as well. So we're both taking the under with Carolina winning and covering the spread. Or you know what? No, Carolina's the underdog. Good grief. If they win, of course they cover because they're the underdogs. Oh, this is how bad this is, y'all. Carolina's a home dog. Oh, this is Sirs.
Hey man, they haven't showed.
That's
hey,
right. That's right.
Put that stuff on tape, man. You gotta change the image that people have of you, man. We've shown where if a team get up on us, it's hard for us to come back, and we've also shown that we can't maintain the lead once we have it. So we have to stop. I said it last week, man. You gotta stop the bleeding. You gotta be able to put together a good game. And this would be a perfect, the team that's 4-0. Carolina's 3-2. We come out and just dominate them from start to finish. That will put a good taste in everybody's mouth for sure. Hopefully, we got our predictions, but I'm hoping 42-24 Carolina, something like that. Yes,
get that score back again.
3 straight years, right. I would prefer that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just making my prediction.
Leave no doubt. I love it.
Past 2 weeks, but yes, we need to go out. And those 24 points need to come like late in the fourth quarter or something like that. Like we got to be clicking on all three phases this weekend and doing the game for sure.
And one thing we haven't mentioned that I do want to say on the way out is, man, you got to clean up these penalties, y'all. Yes. These are absolutely killers. 10 more penalties last week, including what do you call it? A personal foul, 15-yard penalty that just add on made it 1st and 3rd. You cannot do those things. Holding is going to happen. You're going to jump sometimes. You're going to flinch, whatever it is. But you can control what you can control, man. None of that kind of crap. That is just a killer that maybe a Drake May offense could overcome. This offense is made differently, so we'll see it. All right, I'm going to get all hot and bothered on that. So, sirs, let's move on to the weekend whip around so we don't get frustrated. I said it earlier. The Tar Heels have 3 different fall sports teams that are top 3 nationally in their sport. Field hockey right now has ascended to number 1 in the nation, jumping over Northwestern, and both soccer teams are 3rd in the nation. Sirs, how great is that? When when there's just great stuff happening all around campus, you as an athlete, how much pride do you have in your peers in their sport?
Man, I still have pride, man. I still have pride in it. I support all athletes. Apologies to field hockey. I got to get out there and watch you guys play because you guys are dominant. But I go to soccer games. I go to girls basketball, men basketball, baseball. And I was doing that when I was a student athlete there. I went to gymnastics meets, volleyball games. It just gave me something to do. I didn't have classes with those fellow athletes, and you get to know them. You get to associate yourself with, folks from different sports and whatnot, and you take appreciation to their craft, especially when you don't do it. You don't go 100% in their sport like you do in yours. Yeah. So you appreciate what they do. And like you said, they rank nationally. I feel hockey has the youngest coach in the nation, and she won a national title last year. So that's why I said I'm here now, apologizing to field hockey. Like I will be out there, be at a game to support, have my school spirit like always. I know even when I go to Atlanta, my family gets on me like, we get it. We know you went to North Carolina. Like you don't have to wear Carolina all the time. It's like, I'm wearing Carolina all the time. Unless it's a different color theme to where I'm going, I am wearing Carolina all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So so it's good, man. It's good to have that notoriety from all teams, not just because people mostly tend to pay attention to football and basketball because they're the major cash cows for every university. But when you have other teams on the university that puts up just as much effort, they win the national titles and nationally ranked. Every game is a must see for them. Then you can't help but support them, and that's great for the university.
That's part of what makes Carolina, folks. By the way, the wrestling schedule for the season was just released, I believe yesterday it was, so go check that out. Let me hit you with this weekend whip, folks, so you know what's coming up. Sirs mentioned that field hockey team. Look, Sirs, you're not going to go see them this weekend because they're out in California today playing at Stanford. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ACC Network Extra. They'll stay out there and play Cal on Sunday. That's 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, also on ACC Network Extra. P.S., as I said earlier, the ladies who are still 6-0 have jumped Northwestern into first place in the nation. Those 2 soccer teams that are 3rd in the nation, the men play tonight at 7 Eastern at Clemson on ACC Network Extra. The men still undefeated. And the thing is, Clemson 24th in the nation. They're sitting at 5-2-2 overall, 2-2 in ACC play. They've beaten Boston College and Wake, lost to Stanford and Notre Dame. So got to go on the road and knock off a nationally ranked team. As for the women, listen to this score on Thursday night, sirs. As we've been recording, the ladies beat Louisville 5-0 at home there at Dorrance Field. And so the ladies move up now. They are 12-1, 5-0 in the ACC. As I said, they are ranked 3rd in the nation. Volleyball is the only other team in action this weekend because cross country is off. On Wednesday, great news. The football team couldn't beat Duke last weekend, but the volleyball team swept them at Duke on Wednesday, 3-0. And they actually play again tonight at Carmichael, 7 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network Extra. Look, the volleyball team, man, kind of coming out of nowhere this year. 11-1, 3-0 in ACC play, 7-game winning streak. A lot of tougher matches ahead, but they're winning the games in front of them, and that's all you can do for now. Sirs, is great stuff.
Absolutely. I got to catch a volleyball game too.
Yes.
My favorite player is Sean Taylor. His daughter plays for the university, so I definitely gotta go check out the volleyball team.
That's right.
Man. I gotta show support, man. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
They're playing Duke tonight at Carmichael. Go to the house that Jordan built and take it all in, folks. If you haven't subscribed to the show on video and audio, make sure you do so that you don't miss a second of our show. How cool is this? Yesterday, Thursday, we crossed over 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. The goal is to get to 10,000 before we hit 3 years. We started this show 3 years ago in February, so I'm calling this 10 in 3. That's the goal, 10,000 subscribers in 3 years. If you haven't joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord family, man, that's the place to be. We're talking all the time. It's great. Football, basketball, everything else under the sun. We're praying for each other. Man, it's just a cool place, and I love it. The link for that's in the show notes, and it's absolutely free to join. Would also love for you to come be a Locked On Tar Heels insider if you want to go deeper in everything, where you can text me directly. You get free access to all of my stats and charts and data and stuff like that. It's free 2 weeks to check it out, and then just $5 a month after that to help support our show. Y'all, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow after the game, win or lose. But until then, sirs, tell them.
Peace.